There's a light at the end of the tunnel for Falcons fans when it comes to this man right here, QB1. Michael Penix Jr., and I'm telling you guys right now, based off of the research, based off of what I'm seeing, you should be thrilled about the future of this quarterback. Welcome in, Falcons fans, to Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. On today's episode, I'm giving you what you want. All optimism, all the time. Why is MPJ a bright spot for the Dirty Birds? I'm going to break down in this episode exactly why, based off of one former Atlanta Falcons quarterback, why you should be thrilled about the progress that MPJ is making so far. Now, before we continue on with any more of our breakdown, hit that thumbs up icon if you support Michael Penix Jr. Our goal today is 500 likes. That means 500 supportive Falcons fans who love this quarterback right here and want to see this team succeed will hit that thumbs up icon. Let's start, of course, with the most recent game. Let's go back last week against the New England Patriots, who, by the way, have one of the best run-stopping defenses in the NFL. They've also got a very respectable pass defense. I wouldn't call it elite. I would say it's probably top half, but probably closer to 15 than it is to 10. Now, if you're looking at this passing chart, one thing is going to stand out to you. One, he didn't turn the ball over. Two, there's a lot of spread out there. Like, look at all of the wide variety of throws. This is not something that we saw from Michael Penix Jr. earlier on in the the season. Could that be a little bit of a Zac Robinson problem because of the scheme? Yes, absolutely. But it also shows me that Penix is getting more comfortable as the season goes on. He's airing the ball out a little bit more because not every single scheme that Zac Robinson throws up is a short pass. Penix has the opportunity to throw the ball deep. He just wasn't always doing it. Now he is. And the box score stats on the 2025 season aren't going to blow you away. They're not eye-popping. But you have to consider also what Michael Penix Jr. is working with. Say it out loud. Drake London, excellent. Darnell Mooney, injured. Then what? Ray McLeod, he's gone. Kadarrell Hodge, special teams ace. Casey Washington kind of just floats in and out. I mean, I'm not even mentioning Kyle Pitts. This is just the wide receiver room. It's Drake London and then everybody else. Michael Penix Jr. is not, and I repeat, not, with any weapons, really. Take away Drake London. What else do you got? Bijan. That's the next guy. Here's the crazy part about all of this, is that he's a running back. And he's your wide receiver too. Let that sink in for a second. Your wide receiver too is Bijan Robinson. Now, I get it. You could make the argument right now that, Christian McCaffrey is like a wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, but Christian McCaffrey, coming out of Stanford, was known for his dual threat ability. Bijan was more of that, stereotypical fluid runner. He's a much better ball carrier than Christian McCaffrey was, and he has developed into a really nice pass catcher. So if Bijan Robinson, who has to develop that part of his game, is your wide receiver too, something is going on. You know that there's a lack of weapons. And then this is where the real inspiration for this episode came in. Matty Ice. I saw a statistic out there talking about the comparisons between Matt Ryan and Michael Penix Jr. So I thought, okay, let me do my homework a little bit. So I hankered down, I studied hard, and I found the very first 10 starts for Matt Ryan all the way back in 2008 and the first 10 starts for Michael Penix Jr. They're identical. They're the same quarterback. In fact, you could argue that Penix is actually better, slightly, than Matt Ryan was through their first 10 starts. I think Michael Penix Jr., as he came out of Washington versus Matt Ryan coming out of Boston College, Penix was a far better pocket passer and had far better pocket awareness than Matt Ryan did. Matty Ice developed that part of his game as he went on throughout his career. And I also want to bring up the 2008 wide receivers. Does this not strike any similarity to you? You had a number one wide receiver in Roddy White. Had 1,300 yards in 2008. Drake London having a great year. And then it's kind of everybody else. Darnell Mooney, Michael Jenkins, okay. Similar numbers, similar comparison-wise. And then Harry Douglas and Brian Finneran. So let me ask you a question. If you would have saw those numbers from Matt Ryan back in 2008, let's say Falcons today existed back in 2008, and we were dealing with the exact same things, would you still be on the Matt Ryan hype train? If the answer is no, if you're like, well, no, then I would have given him the same treatment that I would have with Penix. Then do you see the point there? It's a little bit contradictory because Matt Ryan became an MVP under the right coordinator. So there are some striking similarities between that 2008 offense versus what the Falcons have right now. It's insane. Penix is going to be just fine with the understanding that it is no longer with Zac Robinson, because that's where this comes down to. Why Penix and Z-Rob don't fit. And I'm going to break down the scheme where Penix had his most successful season and what Zac Robinson does now and prove to you why it doesn't mesh. Before I do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at PrizePicks. The season might be changing. The weather is starting to get colder, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. On PrizePicks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose the flex play, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter your play, PrizePicks is a great way to put your takes to the test. It's very simple to play. It takes 30 seconds to make a lineup. What do? Pick the player, more or less on their stat projections, and then watch your money multiply. Up to 2,000 times your cash this football season on PrizePicks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It is good to be right. It isn't working with Zac Robinson. We know this. You know where I stand. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I will at least break down why schematically it doesn't fit with what Ryan Grubb was doing with Kyle Pitts at Washington and what Zac Robinson is doing here in Atlanta. There is a Seahawks reporter, blogger / type guy. He kind of is like a multifaceted reporter, essentially. His name is Seaside Joe, which is kind of hilarious to think about that we're taking quotes from a guy named Seaside Joe. But believe it or not, he interviewed Ryan Grubb. And here's what his analysis was about Ryan Grubb's offense when he went to Seattle just last year. In some ways, the DeBoer Grubb offense was a typical 2023 college spread. They overwhelmingly lined up in 11-man personnel, which is one running back, one tight end, and 3 wide receivers. And their run game makes heavy use of the run-pass option, a little RPO action. The quarterback has the ability to either hand the ball off or pull it and throw it, with the decision being made either by reading a specific defender, and this is important, or by simply counting the number of defenders in the box. Pre-snap reads. Pre-snap identification. You've got to get the play out quickly. You've got to be able to make your adjustments at the line of scrimmage. But I'm sure you're wondering, okay, wait a minute. Time out, Moose. You said 11-man personnel and 12-man personnel. What does that mean? All right, I'll break it down for you. Let's go by the X's and O's here. Here's offensive 12 personnel. So 12 personnel means you bring an extra tight end. Notice that little tight end off to the left-hand side. Your quarterback is under center, which, I mean, let's be completely honest, we never run anyway. But you got your X receiver, your Z receiver, and you can sometimes throw an extra slot receiver in there depending on where you line up those tight ends. Now, 11-man personnel looks like this. 1 tight end set, 3 wide receivers, just like the article said. So here's what we know. Michael Penix Jr. was able to thrive in 11-man personnel. Now, I've been one to say on this channel, I want them to run more 12-man personnel, but clearly it only works when you have tight ends that are willing to do the blocking. Kyle Pitts is not a blocker. He's got to be lined up as a wide receiver. He's a slot tight end. He's not a willing blocker. It might be something that he's okay at, but he's not known for that. What does Michael Penix Jr. then thrive in if he's running 11-man personnel? It's a pro-style offense. It's not the spread. It's not the air raid. It's not the West Coast. It's a pro-style offense. And here's what's interesting about the pro-style offense. It is one that uses multiple personnel groupings and formation with heavy emphasis on situational football, matchup football. Well, what do we know? Zac Robinson doesn't do that. He literally said it at his press conference. He said, we run the same offense every week. So Zac's scheme, he believes, can beat any specific defense that throws their way at him based off of this pistol offense that he runs. Heavy pistol, if you can dominate the line of scrimmage, you can continue to have success. And that's why it works in college. Because if you run the pistol in college and your offensive line is really good, you will never lose. Because you're just bodying all of the weaker, smaller defenders. But here's where the things get tricky in the pros. You can't body off defensive linemen all the time because they're the best athletes in the world. So the pistol relies on a strong running attack based off of snap points and your offense doing a great job at zone blocking. Well, now that the Falcons have injuries at their offensive line, you've had to swing out Bijan to be used as a wide receiver. And if we know what we just saw at the very top of that first statement, which is the pistol relies on a strong running attack, and your best running attack is lined up as a wide receiver, pistol doesn't work. Now you could say, okay, let's put Tyler Algier back there, but we know Tyler Algier is not the same talent as Bijan. So do you see where all of this just bleeds together? It's the wrong system for a lack of weapons. If you're going to run the pistol, you've got to make sure your offensive line is dominant and that you have at least two reliable pass catchers on the X and the Y. Because if you're using Bijan, your strong running attack, out as your slot receiver, you will never, ever have any success. It becomes too predictable. So what is the ultimate takeaway? It's not working. It's not working with Zac Robinson. So what do? Go get that man right there. Go get Ryan Grubb. Penix's best season as a quarterback was with Ryan Grubb, University of Washington. They went to the national championship game. He threw for almost 5,000 yards in college. That one season. And he threw 36 touchdowns and 11 picks. That sounds heavenly to me right now, don't you think? Someone that finds the end zone as much as Penix used to, now only has 8 touchdowns in 9 starts. It's not good enough. So I'm going to ask you this before we get on out of here. Who would you hire as the Falcons offensive coordinator? You know my answer. Name rhymes with dub. But either way, let me know in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to hit that subscribe button to stay informed around the Dirty Birds. Like today's video, and as always, rise up and be cool.